Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Ben Kieckhefer joins us, former Chief of Staff to Governor Lombardo, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
MAGA extremist Sam Brown has repeatedly supported efforts to ban abortion without any exceptions for rape or incest. Before moving to Nevada, Brown ran for office in Texas, where he supported the ban that had the toughest restrictions in the country, and he strongly supported overturning Roe v. Wade.
On issues of life, it is a non-negotiable for me.
Sam Brown's extreme far-right agenda is wrong for Nevada. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Ben Kieckhefer. He heads up BRK Nevada LLC. It is a pleasure to have you back on the program. As I always say whenever you're on the program, you've had so many previous high-end positions that it would take half an hour to go through them all. But people can Google you and find out everything you've done. Let's start out. As we're taping this, last night was the vice presidential debate. Did you watch it?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought they both did a pretty good job making the case for their respective, number ones. I was really impressed by J.D. Vance's skills at debate. He clearly knows what he's doing and made a good case for the policies of the Trump presidency that were really beneficial to the people of the country. I thought Tim Walz did an admirable job in his own right, advocating for what Vice President Harris is putting forward as a part of her campaign. And frankly, it was just nice to watch a debate about policy where the candidates sometimes agreed with each other, and there were moments of humanity built into it, and I found it refreshing.
Was this really a vice presidential debate? I mean, at this point, one wonders about these things.
Yeah.
Then the bottom line comes in, which is, does anybody care about vice presidential debates?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, does anyone, what's driving people to make their decisions in this is probably not the vice presidential debate, but it's good to know that there's people in those positions who can, think on their feet and advocate for a cause.
Do you remember when in the Ross Perot era, Admiral Stockdale?
Who am I? What am I doing here?
That's one of the greatest things ever.
Is, yeah.
And it was misconstrued. I mean, he was a brilliant guy. I mean, and a great patriot for this country. But people thought he was, lost. But in fact, it was a political statement for the most part. Let's talk. We've got an upcoming legislative session. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I know that you have, thoughts on is legislative transparency. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that and what that means.
Yeah, the legislature itself is the only public body in the state that's truly exempt from all of the transparency laws that it creates for everyone else. And I think it's gotten to the point where there probably needs to be some change on that. And look, I need to not to be a hypocrite, right? I was the beneficiary of all of these laws that protected the legislature for more than a decade, but I've also been a reporter, and I've been a public information officer for a state agency, and I've been a communications director for a governor, and I've been a chief of staff for a governor, and I've seen the importance of public records laws. I know how critical they are in transparency for our government and accountability for elected officials. I've also seen how they've been weaponized by political organizations. And for the legislature to hold everybody to a standard that they then exempt themselves from, I think we need to get past that and move on. The same is probably true for the Ethics Commission, for example. If the legislature thinks the Ethics Commission is such a good thing, they should probably hold themselves to it as well. So I think we're going to see some debate on this when we get into the legislative session. I think for the most part, the legislature is full of good people trying to do good things, but those laws are in place for accountability for the exceptions to the rule.
It seems to me over the last few years, and mostly at the legislature than other places, that the caucus communications directors have advised their members not to talk to the media rather than talk to the media. And I don't understand where the sense of that is, because there are some very good people at the legislature, and yet we don't get to hear their voices unless one has relationships. And thankfully we have built relationships with a lot of good people. The speaker, Yeager, has been on this program many times, and he's always willing to come on. But there are lots of others that duck.
Sam, I think what you're getting to is that the caucuses themselves have become much more political organizations that function within this legislative process, and they sort of have consolidated their power, consolidated their messaging, trying to institute message discipline both through what they say but also who says it, as a part of sort of the political operation that permeates not just legislative session but campaigns, well, not just campaigns but legislative sessions and sort of everything in the middle. You don't have a whole lot of people coming into the legislature with a lot of media experience, so getting people exposed to it gradually over time and building them into a position where you trust them to go out and deliver your message, and it can be critical, is sort of a part of that political process now. I was a part of it when I was in caucus leadership, and it's I think just the reality of the state of the game right now. There are a lot of good people who probably have a lot to say. They just don't always say it in the way you want it said.
Yeah, I just think it's bad for an organization that only meets every other year, and the public doesn't really know who these people are during session, and they have no because going back to when you first started out, and when I first started out, you had the Bill Raggios, the Randolph Townsends, the Barbara Buckleys. The public identified with those people. They knew who they were. And that was part, I think, of the benefit of not having term limits.
Well, sure. Bill Raggio served for, 38 years, and Randolph Townsend served for 28 years or something to that effect. And when they spoke with authority and knowledge and understanding of not just the issue that was in front of them, but the past 20 years of history on that issue. And they were truly a voice of authority and a subject matter expert. We don't quite have that anymore. And
to say the least.
So the importance of being accurate, I think, is paramount. And for a caucus political organization, you need that. And if you can't trust the people to really have the depth of knowledge on specific issues, then you need to have a little bit more control over it.
Would it be nice to be able to reverse term limits? I don't expect you to answer that. Divided government. I'm a big fan of divided government because it means people have to talk to each other. And it concerns me that going into the next legislative session, if things don't go well for the governor, we could end up with one party in power. What are your thoughts on that? And you served as chief of staff, obviously.
Certainly. The governor has put all of his sort of political capital in play at ensuring that there is not a supermajority for Democrats in the legislature in the 2025 legislative session. Recruited candidates, endorsed candidates, supported candidates, and is deploying sort of record amount of resources into these races to ensure that that's not the case. case so that his veto matters, can't be overridden with a single party vote. And it is critical for dialogue. And look, I served in 6 full regular legislative sessions. Not one of those had divided chambers of government, but 4 of them at least had a Republican governor and a Democratic legislature, and that created dialogue. It's better for policymaking. It's sort of better for the process, and I believe that the governor's work in this area is going to prove fruitful. I think the election that's going to come up is going to the playing field is broad enough. He's done enough work to broaden the playing field, include enough races to be successful in this. But it's going to be close.
You know, one of the things that always struck me was when Senator Reid was trying to get Obamacare passed, and he had 60 votes in the Senate. He had the 2/3 majority he needed to get things done, and yet there were 3 senators from his own party who rebelled against him and, essentially in a polite way blackmailed him. So just having, a veto-proof majority doesn't mean to say things are going to go necessarily as smoothly as you'd like.
Well, look, it's the legislative process. It never goes smoothly. I mean, that's not the point. I think...
Oh, stop with the truth.
I think the point is balance, right? And, there will always be people who will want to find leverage and use leverage to get what they want. Oftentimes that happens early, and then people sort of think differently of it as the legislative session moves on. There's no guarantees, right, about how things turn out, but it ensures that there would be conversation and an effort to work together. And I've heard the speaker, it may have been in media reports, talk about his desire to continue to have dialogue regardless of the makeup of the legislature. And I trust him at his word to have that be the case. But again, there's a lot of pressure that comes in once those doors to the session open from factions that have expectations based on their efforts to help you during the political process. So things shift around quickly.
There's a lot to be read into your last statement there. One other quick question on the legislature, the movie industry in Nevada. My advice to the Nevada legislature is to hire Tyler Perry to come and talk to them and tell them how well things have worked in Georgia, because it seems like there's almost no movie that doesn't have a Georgia peach at the end of it, and his own incredible studios there. What do you think realistically about the movie industry in Nevada?
Well, I think that there are obviously multiple proposals to try to build up this industry, but they are all contingent on really significant transferable tax credits. And those transferable tax credits are basically a check from the state general fund. So they're not tax incentives or tax abatements, right? So we need to understand what we're talking about when we have these conversations. But it's going to be, I think, a robust debate, as the saying goes, at the legislature over whether this is a good idea for the state, whether it is good public policy to spend our resources in this way to try to diversify our economy by essentially buying an industry into the state, and whether that makes sense for us. And that is a to-be-determined answer at this point.
Yes, to say the least. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with former State Senator Ben Kieckhefer after this time out.
They want us to believe we only have 2 options. That's just not working anymore. I've never been a follower. I'm a businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ready to forge a new path to secure our future, one that keeps Northern Nevada free, fair, and wild. A path that means freedom for all, including affordable housing.
I'm Greg Kidd, and I approve this message because I'm not from either political party. I'm for Nevada.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley. Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Ben Kieckhefer. He is the founder of BRK Nevada, LLC. On the program previously, you've talked about the potential for esports in our state. It seems to be coming along slowly but surely, but in my mind, not as fast as it should. But then you look at what happened with the UFC and the Sphere just a couple of weeks ago, and it cost them $20 million. But what an amazing demonstration of the power of the Sphere and also of UFC. What could be done with esports on that Sphere, inside and outside?
Could you only imagine? Right? They are finding more and more creative ways to use that asset, and I think that it's going to continue to grow as they explore new ways to project, to utilizing sound on the outside, all the things that they've been doing. It was a tremendous asset during Formula One, right? They used it as a yellow flag in the middle of the race.
Right.
It was really neat when they were coming around turn one. The Sphere itself, as an asset for Las Vegas, is sort of tailor-made for a massive esport event. Video gaming with that type of technology would be, I think, incredible from a spectator experience.
Well, also the fact that they can direct audio in different languages to every seat in the building, 17,500.
Yeah, the technology is incredible, and the prospect for that, I think, is really strong. And as esports as an industry continues to grow, and I think it still will, it certainly hasn't grown at the rate that I was probably hoping for when I was running legislation relating to it, but it is still coming along, I think, in a good way, that is a venue that for major international events has to be enticing.
All right, let's take another break and we'll be right back with Ben Kieckhefer after this.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low, and our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way, because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news in between and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Ben Kieckhefer. He is the head of BRK Nevada LLC. As you look at the sports world in Las Vegas and the potential for it to increase, it doesn't seem like it's in any way slowing down. It's gaining speed.
Absolutely, as well it should, right? The Golden Knights put down a flag and demonstrated that professional sports was going to work in Las Vegas, and it worked. You've been to Knights games, I'm sure, right? That is a local crowd,
right?
In Golden Knights games, you know, those are Las Vegans, those are Nevadans who are there to cheer for their home team, and that is it's just really cool to be a part of. When you go to Allegiant Stadium for a Raiders game, those are seats populated by a lot of people who came to Las Vegas specifically to go to that game. That stadium is functioning exactly as designed and actually overperforming its design from an economic development perspective,
yes.
Right? So we've now seen both the sort of local support and the tourist support. I think when the A's open up, I think you're going to see some sort of hybrid where you're going to have people from all over the country coming to Las Vegas to see their favorite baseball team play, but the A's are also going to have the opportunity to develop a strong local fan base because of the regularity of those games, the greater affordability of baseball versus football on an individual event basis. And I'm confident that they're going to put an excellent product on the field. UFC is housed in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Aces are champions and demonstrating what the WNBA can grow into, and hopefully in other markets and become. And then I think you've got other leagues that I'm sure would love to have a home in the Las Vegas market. The NBA, professional soccer. I think that there is opportunity for continued growth, and in this area, I believe a rising tide floats all boats.
All right, so then let's hit on Formula One for a moment.
Not to mention Formula One.
Yeah, so Formula One is an incredible thing. Let's state that right off the top. But there are issues with businesses that were hurt dramatically, and I think the headline here is Ferraro's, which is an Italian restaurant on Flamingo, lost millions of dollars. What is the obligation of Formula One, Clark County, to make good on that, or does it just open up a can of worms that everybody can then jump in and say, hey, we lost money because, whether they were really directly affected or not? I mean, what a conundrum.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult situation. You certainly don't want to be hurting your local business at the expense of big business coming in, but but we need to understand the importance of the economic activity that's generated by large events and large businesses coming in. The number of local vendors that are supported by things like that are huge, and we need to make sure that we're looking at both sides of the ledger on that. Look, in terms of the responsibility, I think that in the spirit of good citizenship, that's where that responsibility truly lies, and it probably lies both with Formula One and the LVCVA in Clark County to figure out how to try to remedy these problems and minimize any damage that could potentially be done because of the sort of significant footprint of a race like Formula One in Las Vegas. And I know that they take that seriously, and I believe that they are working to make that right.
It's interesting. Derek Stevens at Circa is putting on a massive music festival for this Formula One, so that people have an alternate to go to if they're not into Formula One, because a lot of the casinos that weren't in the middle of a track didn't do as nearly as well as they thought. Plus, you're seeing the room rates way lower than they were last year. And not that they're low, they're just lower. Yeah,
look, year one was a tremendous success, but it was also a learning experience, I think, for Formula One. And all of these these issues that you're addressing now are things that can be dealt with, corrected. There were some casinos that had record nights,
right.
But they were concentrated certainly around the track, and the effect outside of that strip core was not as profound as I think people were hoping for. So how do we use the event to continue to bring people to Las Vegas who may not be going to the event itself? We heard, and all the media talked about for so long, is how terrible traffic was going to be and how difficult it was going to be to get around and how intensive this experience was going to be. And it didn't turn out to be that at all. And I think in many ways it kept people away who otherwise would have come. And we saw some of the some of the detrimental effects of that sort of narrative being out there. So I think we need to change a little bit how we talk about it and what that customer experience is in Las Vegas during the Formula One Grand Prix or the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And as we do that, I think some of these problems get solved.
That's where we have to leave it. Always a pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank
you
you,
for being here.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food.
It's a good time to eat.
Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times are tamarack.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
It happens. And when it does, there's UMC Quick Care.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day on various platforms, including television, radio, our website, audio and video podcasts, YouTube. If you want to find the show, you can find it pretty darn easily. And we cover politics, business, health, and education. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next program.